All right, last video on this house, and then I'll shut up. Maybe. All right, one of the other things you want to look at is there's days going to come when a guy shows up with a truck. He's going to hook up to this thing, and he's going to go hillbilly wild. Now, what you have to realize is a little truck. It's 21 feet long, 8 feet wide, and you've got a house that is 16 feet wide by 80 feet long. Truck's going to move the house just fine. We don't have a power problem, we don't have a stability problem, nothing like that. But the truck, when you're looking to see if this house can move, because cost comes into the factor, right? That's what this is all about. Truck's going to stand here. Truck's 21 feet. Stand here at the back of the hitch right here. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm standing where the front of the truck's going to be. Now, all of a sudden, look. Oh golly, I've got a burn barrel right here. I've got an old broken down lawnmower there. I've got crap galore right here, crap galore there. It's crap glory out here. And then so I can't go through the field because crops are there. This thing has to go for whatever reason. It's sat here for 2 years, but all of a sudden it's like an emergency. So it came in through the field, the corn wasn't there, but they wait till the corn shows up before it's an emergency. And so you kind of got to look. If I'm standing here, here's the nose of my truck. There's a truck, specifically that truck. Kind of visualize that right here. And now I don't have a lot of room to maneuver. So I would have to, we got to move some of this crap and kind of nose all the way up over there, start twisting this thing, and start working the tail out. And then we got crap there that we're probably going to end up having to move. But I'll probably wiggle it over just far enough. We'll probably have to limb up some trees. That's something you always want to look out for, are trees. If you've ever seen anybody drive a semi-truck, if you've ever driven a semi-truck, these houses need about 130 to 150% of the room. That means every bit of room is a regular semi, and then half again as much. Usually, that's what that thing needs to be able to turn. That's what I need to be able to manipulate it, so that way I can get it where we want it to go. And then so you kind of visualize, you kind of have to look at it in your head. We got to trim back some tree branches, we got to limb them up. Vast majority of the time, nobody cares. Come over here, yeah, it's pretty low. Vast majority of the time, nobody cares. It's common, these things are 13.5 feet tall houses. That's probably a pretty common height, between 13 and 14. So if you limb everything up to like 14.5 feet, you got plenty of room. And then you go and you walk, because the gravel road is down here on the other side of this corn, and here is my one access. So you kind of got to walk through here. Your local mover is going to have experience in what the soil conditions and what the terrain is like in your specific location. Here in Iowa, this crap's soft, and if it rains the day before, we won't come out here and do it. We'll cancel, let it dry out a little bit, because it's going to be nothing. I mean, we'll sink. And so you kind of come down here and you got to look. Yep, that is a road closed sign. And then you kind of got to look. And so the house, so basically, remember, the truck's up there on the very front next to the barn. So I got to wiggle the house, wiggle it, jiggy it, kind of go through that pile of crap, come straight back here, leave enough room for the truck to spin and rotate, so that way we're going straight back here. Got more branches we got to limb up. And then you come down here. Sure is peaceful out here. That old Cummins back there is the only thing out here making noise. And my mouth. So you come back here, you look, and this thing would have to, in order for this house to get back out of here, it's going to have to that's going to be a tight turn. We're looking to the east. Some of you are smart enough to figure out that's the sun reflecting off that sign. Some of you are like, "Oh." Okay. So off to the south, you got to look at the amount of room I have to be able to make a turn. And so you come out here, you see that it's offset, which actually in this particular instance helps us kind of walk over here into the ditch. If you want to see how deep it is, see what it looks like. I mean, it only comes down 6 inches, something like that. So basically, I can float the tail of the house out over here, and actually I can even drop axles down in here, and I can actually bring the axles kind of right over here. We can move the sign. This road's closed up that way, off to the east. And then I can cut the truck hard to the left and take off to the south. And the highway's down there, about 3 or 4 hills. If I get down here and decide I don't like that, I can kind of wiggle and jig and get over there, and I got room. I actually got probably a little bit more room over here to get up into this ditch with the truck and be able to come down, bring the truck down through here, and then drag it around and probably miss the that tensioning rod or that tensioning anchor right there on the power line. And then up that way, a couple of miles is another road that runs off to the west that'll eventually circle back around to a state highway, back to the blacktop. So these are things you want to look at. If you get out here and there's just not enough room where a guy with a grain truck, or a guy with any old semi, any semi you can think of, if there's not more than enough room for him plus another, or room for him and half of another to be able to make the turn, then you're going to start needing some specialty equipment. Now, specialty equipment is stuff like a translift or a platypus. We'll talk about those in other videos, but we'll tease with those are machines that crawl up underneath the house, and they pick the house up and they slide your tail sideways. They're cool. They're really cool. They're also pretty expensive, which is why I don't have one at the moment. One day, it's on my wish list. One day we'll get one, and then you'll see a lot of platypuses in the video. But right now, I've got a couple of buddies that have them, and if I know that I need one, I have to coordinate with them. They come out and they help me bust the house out, or if I need one to park it, they'll help me come out and help me park it. And it's all well and good, we get it done, just we have to pay them for it. So that goes into the budget. So these are all things you want to look for when you're out looking at a house that you know you're going to end up moving. You got to kind of start looking, how much real estate do you have? How much crap is in the way? Do you want to do any of the work yourself to save some money? Or if you don't, the mover will do it. I'll do all of it. It just comes down to the more work I do, the more I charge for it. And I think every mover's the exact same way. So at any rate, thank you for tuning in.